Hey there, crypto friends. We're going to look at Bitcoin, XRP, ETH, ZRX, and MDA on the daily and shorter term time frames. So not a whole lot going on. We have the bounce attempting to play out at this point, and it's not doing anything for the bulls. It's a weak bounce attempt. And we've seen this before where once the bears gain control with a dump and a break of support, like what happened, we have sideways trading while the exponential resistances drop down. And then once those exponential resistances hit the price, we usually drop down another leg. And that's happened many times. Doesn't mean it's going to happen this time, but that tells me that's the most likely scenario. So a lot of traders are preparing for either bearish entries or getting rid of bullish entries, getting rid of bullish positions. So the hourly time frame here broke a support level. Here on Coinbase, we had a double bottom of 62.01 and then 61.99.95, essentially a double bottom. And that level broke, and then we bounced and set a lower high, and now we're fading down to that level. So if we see a convincing bear break below 61.88, the 4-hour lower high will likely be set, and we'll have to pull back, and our sights will set down to 61.11 support and 61.05. So essentially what we're watching right now, it depends on the time frame for your trade or what time frame you're interested in this current cryptocurrency environment. Again, I'm trading way less, one trade in 6 weeks, and I'm using longer term time frames. So even on the alert system, I don't care about 15-minute alerts. Abnormal volume on the 15-minute time frame can be useful and give a heads up for moves that are to come. But personally, I'm looking at 4-hour time frames and daily time frames at this point as we are patiently waiting for more clear breaks on the weekly chart. So if you're looking in shorter term, you're looking on the hourly time frame and you're looking down at this range right here, 62.35 resistance and support of 61.88. You can see some clear little lower highs to be watching on the hourly. So that's the range we're watching into tonight. And if you're on the 4-hour time frame and you're looking at a broader range, then you're looking at key support of 61.05 with resistance of 62.35. So either way, it's a tight sideways range. The exponential resistance is dropping down, and over the next couple of candlesticks, that exponential resistance is going to be in play. The daily inside bar is very likely to form here, and we'll be watching to see how this daily inside bar breaks tomorrow. With any bull break on the daily time frame, we know a lower high is very likely to be set. Unless there's some kind of news release to cause a huge bull volume spike, a lower high compared to 66.81 is easily the most likely scenario. And we're going to be watching for that lower high to be set if we get follow through on this bounce. So again, pretty much bears are comfortable right now on the 4-hour time frame. And even if we get a bull break on the 4-hour time frame, they're comfortable on the daily time frame. So it's going to take a lot of work for these bulls to add any pressure to the bears in the current setup that we have. And just a reminder right now, I just looked at this candlestick and saw, I did make that one bull entry on this bull break of the daily time frame, and just looked back in hindsight and said, wow, sticking to that trade game plan really saved me from a huge loss. If I didn't have a stop loss, if I didn't exit on the 4-hour higher low back then, I would be in a world of trouble right now on that position. So I stopped out right here, and let's see where that line is on the daily time frame compared to where we are now. And skipped that entire dump day, was skipped because I respected my stop loss on the 4-hour time frame and exited the position when the bulls lost that momentum. So again, at this point, just patiently waiting for some more clarity. Bears are comfortable sideways trading inside bar on the daily time frame. Bitcoin shorts worth keeping an eye on. We're still not close to those all-time highs, but there's not many resistance levels. They're not really resistance because again, these are just number of shorts that are opening up. But the bottom line is we're close to all-time high shorts, which will be interesting because again, I'm always watching, if we see shorts climb up towards those all-time high levels and we haven't broken 6,000 yet, that's a potential scenario where we could see a bit of a short squeeze. But if, we break 6,000 and break 5,900 and just see the shorts climb while we're dropping, that's a different scenario. So shorts climbing while we're sideways and still holding support is the potential catalyst for a squeeze. Whereas if we are dropping down, it is a much different scenario because again, the bears are still completely comfortable at that point, I should say, unless we see a huge bull volume spike after bear break. So bottom line is I am keeping an eye on the shorts, but they're not really giving me any information right now. It's just watching the 40,000 level. And if we get up to those levels, seeing where the price stands and what the daily chart looks like at that point, will give us a bit more information in terms of what to expect and whether the shorts are getting cocky or not. Remember, we've seen a couple times now where we've pointed out that the shorts are getting cocky based on where we were on the chart and how high those shorts were. And in the past, it has led to bull moves and some short covering. So we will be keeping an eye on that. XRP on the daily, again, the clear bear break below 43.55. Anything under 502 is a lower high on this daily chart. So we're bouncing. It's a much more significant bounce than Bitcoin at this point. The daily inside bar, you can see we almost made it all the way back to the high of yesterday. We're going to be looking for a lower high compared to 502, and we're watching the 4-hour time frame, and we're at those exponential resistances. So the bounce that we saw, way more significant. And right now on the hourly time frame, the low of this consolidation is the most important support level. That's at 4189. Break 4189 and there's a lack of support anywhere nearby. As far as resistance goes, we just have all of these clear hourly lower highs to be watching, with the most recent one at 43288. So the tight range that we're watching into tonight, 43288 resistance, support of 4189, tight range, lack of support immediately nearby. And if we get a bear break in these major names, XRP with this lack of support could see a bit of a flush. All depends on whether or not those other names like Bitcoin get rejected from their 4-hour exponential resistance. ETH daily time frame inside bar much more in line in terms of weaker compared to Bitcoin, or I should say with Bitcoin compared to XRP, nowhere near getting back to where we dumped from. And the 4-hour time frame, exponential resistance dropping down. It's like the bulls are just patiently waiting and saying, all right, finish us off. And the bulls are putting up a fight still on these weekly time frames, specifically Bitcoin defending 6,000, but it's just a lackluster bounce attempt at this point. 4-hour lower highs to be watching, and let's go to the hourly time frame to find that tight range that we're watching into tonight. Lower highs 198.50, 198, 196.29. Key support is 193.30, double low, and if 193.30 breaks, 192.62, 190.77. So there's supports and there's resistances on all kinds of time frames here. 15-minute, a bit more clear where these levels are coming from. But the bottom line is we're trading sideways, and these exponential resistances are dropping down. And it's not often that we see sideways trading, and then once we touch exponential resistances, a big bull move out of nowhere. That just generally does not happen. So this is the kind of setup where we know, statistically speaking, the odds greatly favor the bears as these exponential resistances approach. Doesn't mean we can't see a bull move. Again, we have to remember that while we put the odds in our favor, it's never a sure thing. It can be a 90% move in terms of confidence and how it has played out in the past. You're still going to lose 1 out of 10 times, and it's going to do the exact opposite thing. So that's always the reminder that I have in poker, where you go all in with pocket aces and you're in the best possible scenario that you can be, but you still lose all the time with pocket aces. If you play poker a lot, or even a little bit, you're losing with pocket aces, and it certainly sticks in your memory. So just a reminder that even high probability scenarios go the other way every so often. So sideways trading, key tight levels to be watching. ZRX USD, so the listing on Coinbase led to the upside, and I do believe we are now trading on Coinbase. We were in post-only mode about 6-7 hours ago, so we'll look at the Coinbase chart here in the future in a bit. But bottom line is we're just trading sideways, and we're seeing a bit of a red flag, and that's because we saw a clear bull break without follow through. So here's our high, low, lower high, higher low, bull break with an upper wick, pull back, still a higher low, bull break with an upper wick of profit taking, and still higher low, but we're on the verge of breaking support. So the fact that you break resistance, how many times do we see this pattern with a bull break and we see the bulls head back up to the 85, 86 range? And obviously the fact that we see no follow through is a red flag. And we can say to ourselves, I've seen this pattern before. I know that if we break these lower highs, the bulls are supposed to see follow through. And if we don't see this follow through, that's a red flag. So the support right now is at 7.6, 7432, 7376, and 8184 is the most important resistance. But you can see it's just a lot of profit taking over the last half dozen hours, and it's a potential bearish entry opportunity as we're watching the daily inside bar form. If we get the daily inside bar bear break, this is another one of those names similar to XRP where we just don't have a ton of support because of the fast bull move that we did see to the upside. So a little bit of the hype is wearing off, and the question is this profit taking going to lead to breaks in support? And it also depends on how Bitcoin, again, same as XRP, it depends on how Bitcoin is going to respond to this 4-hour exponential resistance. MDA BTC, this run just continues, and it's either 2 or 3 days ago at this point that I said the 4-hour time frame is the one to utilize for longer term as to whether or not to take profit or whether the bulls have control. And if you have been holding on this 4-hour time frame, you deserve a pat on the back, because I myself, admittedly, I can't hold this long. It's just ingrained into me as a day trader to lock in profit on this kind of move. I would never let this move fully ride out. And that's just my style as a trader, and it's been working, so that's fine. But I'm just being for real that if you are holding, this is definitely very impressive that you are very disciplined to your trade game plan. So declining bull volume is definitely notable. We know we're going to set a top soon. And again, the top is going to be marked by a loss of the 4-hour uptrend. Anything above 2209 is a higher low, keeping these bulls in full control. We have the 4-hour exponential support as a guide as well, the 12 period here. And if you want to try and be a bit more aggressive, you're looking for a loss of the hourly uptrend for a bearish entry. Now, it doesn't mean you're in the clear if you get a loss of the hourly uptrend, because we did lose it here and then see continuation. And that's happened a couple times where we just barely break support and then see continuation. So oftentimes when we are looking at consolidation and we see a lower high and a lower low, that break of the lower low not getting follow through is a red flag for the bears. So exactly like we just went over on ZRX, the bull breaks with a lack of follow through as a red flag. The opposite scenario, when we see a move like this and we see a bear break with no follow through, I then say to myself, that's likely a flag on a longer term time frame. So you look at the 4-hour and it is indeed forming all kinds of bull flags and seeing continuation. So you could make a bearish entry on the loss of the hourly uptrend and just know that if the bulls turn that thing around and we don't see follow through for the bears, that's a red flag and you want to exit that position because it's possibly just another bull flag on the 4-hour time frame. So anything above 251 is a higher low right now. Bulls are trying to form 255 as a higher low. If we get some follow through up to 27, we'll say that that is our hourly higher low. And again, if you make a bearish entry on the loss of the hourly uptrend and top fish whatever the high is at that point, you're not going to have a ton of risk. And it gives you the opportunity to nail the top, because when this daily chart does begin to consolidate, let's see, up here at 2.8, we'll call it as our high, we're probably going to see a very easy 10% easy 20%, I would say, of pullback from the top whenever that top is hit. So if I were trading MDA, I would just be patiently watching for signs of a trend change to be looking for that bearish entry. And of course, wanting to protect that trade, because a name like this, if you're not protecting your shorts, there's some shorts right now that are in a world of hurt over the last couple of days. So that's where we stand as we head into tomorrow. Bears have the upper hand. Bulls have to do something to prove otherwise, and they're just not doing it at this point. For Do Good Things today, I had a special friend donate and adopt a sheep for me, and this is Adriano. And he's been adopted by the Farm Sanctuaries Adopt a Farm Animal Program in New York and California. And sponsorship at farmsanctuary.org. Farmsanctuary.org is the website. So they're in New York and California, and this guy was rescued 6 years ago. He was abused, but he's having a good time now. So, worth checking out. It's a pretty cool gift if you want to give it to someone who likes animals. I appreciate you watching. We'll see you over the weekend. Do some good things out there, and have a good night. Low, high, higher, low, lower, high, higher, low, 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 low, high, higher, low, lower, high, higher, low. I'm ready to trade. Just need some higher lows and lower highs. Keep getting rejected by these middle Bollinger Bands. Come on, you fat bulls, you piece of mother goat loving fat. Here we go. All-time high test. Get it, bulls. Get it, bulls. Blue skies.